Welcome to Real Leaders with Roshini, the podcast with real talk, real questions, real insight, and we hope real inspiration. For real. We're on the road at River Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. My guest is Pulitzer Prize winner and New York Times columnist Thomas Friedman, no stranger to real insight and real situations. Tom, you have been all over the world. You've covered so many people and places. What makes you keep doing this work?
Wow, that's a good question. First of all, it's great to be with you again, Roshini.
It's so great to be with you. Great. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
It's great to do a neighborhood concert back in Minnesota. I guess what really makes me tick is, the world for me is a puzzle, and I'm always trying to figure it out. I think in a previous life, I may have been an explorer because I love going to places, kind of figuring out and coming back and sharing it with people. And I'm a big believer in something that Marie Curie once said, that now is the time to understand more so we may fear less. So we live in a really complex moment of history right now. And there's a lot of people who want to make it more complicated. Actually, they're in the fear business. They're in the business of making people frightened, maybe even ignorant. And I've always seen it as a really idealistic thing to be an explainer. People ask me what I do for a living. I tell them I'm a translator from English to English. I take really complex things, I break them down so I can understand, and I share them with others in the hope and the belief that if more people just kind of understand what's going on, they'll make better decisions and the world will be a better place.
You make no bones about the fact that as a Jewish man, you have covered and also influenced many in the Arab world. Religion has played such a role in the last couple decades of world conflict as well as world peace. What is it about religion that gets people so stirred up?
It's religion, and religions tend to be exclusive. It's my God, my faith, my way. But every religion has that dimension. But of all the major faiths, they also have a pluralistic side. If you look at Islam, if you look at Christianity, you look at Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, I bet in every case you would find that when they're at their most inclusive and pluralistic, learning from others, conveying the ideas and thoughts and learning and science and literature of others, they're actually at their most vibrant, their wealthiest, and most influential. I think it's true of all of them. Who
are some of the people who influence you the most?
Well, I would tell you I don't have, sort of heroes in that sense of some pantheon I have on my wall of leaders I've interviewed. But for me, I'm really into amplification as a journalist. I love going to anywhere from Beirut to Baghdad to Wilmer, Minnesota, and finding people who are doing good things and using my column to spotlight that and amplify it. And I really feel that both strengthens them and gives other people good ideas, because I believe emulation is such a powerful force. People see other people are doing something, they can do it too. And so I spend a lot of time amplifying the good deeds of others, the good works of others. It could be anything around education, it could be around commerce, it could be around innovation, around community building. But I'm in the amplification business.
You have said you have a really great job. The New York Times gives you a credit card and just says, go, turn in your column. That's a lot of responsibility. How do you prioritize?
Well, I do have the best job in the world. I mean, somebody has to have it, and I've got
and
it.
It's you.
I've got it, and you don't. And so I get to be a tourist with an attitude. I get to go all over the world and have attitudes about whatever I want, whenever I want. And the New York Times just says, write interesting stuff and see you later. They have no idea I'm in St. Paul right now, or that I was in China last week, for that matter, or 10 days ago. So it is a great freedom. With great freedom comes great responsibility. I take it very seriously. I get access to this amazing newspaper, this amazing platform that's read all over the world. So to this day, I'm as in awe of working for the New York Times as I was the first day I walked into the office in the old building on 44th Street. It's the greatest newspaper in the world, and it's a privilege to work there.
I know you don't have this list of people that you need to check in with or that you're idolizing, but your wife is an influential person in your world.
Yeah, my wife is my editor. She edits my column wherever I am in the world. I send it to her first. If she says it stinks, I start over. Doesn't happen too often, but does happen. And my wife is building a museum in Washington, D.C. right now called Planet Word. It's going to open at the end of May. It's the world's first word museum to promote reading, literacy, love of language. And I hope all your listeners will come visit, and you as well.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to chat with her.
I think so. You're actually talking to the wrong Friedman.
You know, you have all these big ideas and big thoughts, but what does Thomas Friedman do for fun?
I actually am a golf nut. I play a lot of golf. Every once in a while, someone asks me if I would run for office. I tell them, no, I get my aggravation playing golf. It's fine. I get plenty there. And so I still I'm a member here at Interlochen in Minneapolis still, so I can come back and play with my golf buddies here. But I do love to play golf. I get a chance to play golf all over the world. I'm on the staff of Golf Digest. I do golf writing for them. When I wrote my first book, From Beirut to Jerusalem, my editor said, well, what are you going to do next? I said, I want to write a book about golf. He said, the Persian Gulf? I said, no, golf.
That's awesome. All right, let's do a real quick fire round. If you were a cocktail or a spirit or a drink, what would Thomas Friedman be?
I don't drink, so I don't even know.
But you just seem too vibrant to be water.
Yeah, it wouldn't be water, but actually my favorite drink is half Diet Coke, half grape juice.
Oh, yeah. I will have to try that.
It's a great combination. You should try.
Kind of bubbly and strong.
Yeah, it's good. It works.
I love it.
It's called a Blue Beach.
All right. If you don't drink, my guess is you probably don't ever shout profanity, but I
wouldn't say that. But
do you have a favorite curse word?
Not a favorite one. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself, someone who's cursing all the time. So, gosh darn it, probably be.
That's it.
Good.
Yeah. You can take this guy home to mom.
Right. Exactly. I'll let loose with a few, but in the newsroom, but not here.
You live in D.C., and I know you get home to Minnesota often. You travel the world, but if there were one place in the world where you could be just to unwind, where would that be?
I'd be walking around Lake Calhoun.
That's really hometown.
Yeah.
I love it as a Minneapolis person.
Well, people ask me where I live. I say, well, I live in Washington, D.C. Actually, I live in Bethesda, Maryland, but I am from Minnesota, and I still am.
What is Thomas Friedman hopeful about today?
What am I hopeful about today? Well, I'm hopeful about a lot of the innovation happening in small towns that I've been visiting, places like Wilmer, Lancaster, or Red Wing, Minnesota. I was just in Red Wing. It was amazing innovation going on there. So, as I say, if you want to be an optimist, stand on your head. The country looks a lot better from the bottom up than from the top down.
On that note, thank you so much, Thomas Friedman. Until next time, keep it real.